All right. Hello, everyone. What did I do up here? Hi, everyone. Going live. Let me do my chime in. Let's get the chakras in order. Hi. Let me get my chakras in alignment real quick. So we're going to have us a good discussion tonight. Let me bring in my, oh, what did I just do right there? Hold on, you all. I'm trying to, before I get started with this conversation, I wanted to bring in Ubuntu to go live with me, but I'm trying to figure out how to get it done. So y'all excuse me for a second. I thought I knew how, and then I tried it, and it's not working. So I don't know why that is. It's kind of like pulling it up. Hi, I said. Hi, Nubian Empress. Hello, how you doing? Hi, everyone. Hi, Tefna. Hey, Shug. Who am I missing up here? Boo, I don't know how to I don't know how to pull you up, boo. Hey. Oh wait, this might be it. Nope, that ain't it there. Hold on one second, y'all. Be patient with me for a second. What? Okay, sorry, y'all. So I'm back. I want to talk about this menstruation. Like, y'all, first of all, it's a bunch of malarkey, okay? What I mean by that is that we've been led to believe that it is natural when it has never been natural. It has never in our spiritual beings, the spiritual selves, has ever been known to be natural. It didn't start coming into play until our ancestors were colonized, when they started bringing over diseases and things such as that nature. Hold on, I think my fiance is calling me. He wants to join in. Okay. Hey, babe, you gotta turn down your thing. Okay, so I have my fiance with me here tonight, y'all. Hold on, wait, let me turn it around. Hi. So what I wanted to talk about is, first of all, I don't know, I mentioned this last night when I was talking about masturbation. Well, this time, the same book, The Wounded Womb by Phil Valentine. This is what it looks like, in case anybody want to get it. I definitely strongly suggest that, to know thyself and get more into who you are, you should definitely get that book. Menstruation, what I want to discuss is about it. First of all, it's a blood sacrifice because it's not natural. Anything that's natural does not come with pain. Anything that's natural and it is, what is that noise? I don't know, I thought I heard a little noise. But anything that is natural does not come with pain. It does not come with discomfort. It does not come with a throw off of your entire genetic being and makeup. So, like I pointed out before, it's a blood sacrifice. We got to think of, why is it that we have this menstruation and stuff going on wrong with the womb? Menstruation is the breakdown and the tear down of your uterus. So it's tearing down your uterus walls. Mind you, your womb is what is supposed to be the house of the fountain of youth. It's supposed to be what brings life into this world, creativity into this world. So why would it be that Mother Nature in the universe would want your womb to go in pain. That wasn't never came across until our wombs until we started eating toxins, taking in toxins. It has been a major shift in the world to where all these pollutants and all of these spiritual warfares, all these toxins and things that we take in that has messed up the womb. When I mean that the womb in the woman is fragile, she is severely fragile to the point where any stressor that is overstressing the body can tear down and break down the womb of a woman. Anything. That's why her place is in the home. She's supposed to nurture the body. She's supposed to bring life into to her civilization, to her people, to her village, to her children, to her man. She's supposed to feed and nurture that body. If you don't feed and nurture your own body in your own womb, then we get the toxicity of menstruation. So in this book, anything that the body needs, we gain life from whatever the body needs. So in this book, he talks about that we need to take these things into concept when we're contemplating, what brings life to the womb. When we breathe, we gain oxygen, minerals, other vital atomic elements. When we eat, we replenish the cells. When we sleep, we rejuvenate the body and the temple. When you urinate and defecate, we gain that relief of elimination of what doesn't supposed to be in the body. When we procreate, we get that continuous life cycle. When we study life, we gain that knowledge of self. When we meditate and pray, we get that affirmation of that existence. When you menstruate, we gain absolutely nothing. Women have this mindset because, first of all, if these same people who are teaching us this information, these are the same people who have enslaved our people for that long period of time. We just not too long ago got out of that mind state and that physicality of slavery. So you have somebody who has enslaved us over time telling you that in order for us to bring life into this world, we have to menstruate. I don't know about y'all, but to me, that's the dumbest thing I've heard in my life. I know for my own experience and those that I have known whose menstrual cycles are completely gone, you have to eat healthy. And I mean, like, you have to get away from all of these toxins. You have to be careful what you put in your system. Women, the smoking, the drinking, the stresses, the toxins of meat. There's a lot of parasites and toxins in meat alone. And on top of the fact of the things that you drink. So when you take all of these things in consideration, this is why we menstruate. Your menstrual cycle, your body is polluted with so much toxin that's why you bleed. This bleeding is nothing more than hemorrhaging. Again, breaking down the uterine of the walls. So from this book, he says, the above graph is a way to drive home the point of that cosmic intelligence designed its temple to function as a vital matrix of life, being the operative word. Therefore, vital functions do not rob life energies or create suffering during the natural performance of their appointed duties within the body. Therefore, like I said before, your body is not going to purposely break itself down to menstruate when the whole purpose of your body is to rejuvenate, to bring that life force in, to create that essence of that life force, so to say. Life does not steal from itself in order to create something. That's stupid. Life does not suffer in order to live, to create something. Again, like I said, the womb is supposed to be beneficial to the point where, hi Pat, the womb is supposed to be beneficial to the point where it brings in life. Again, the elite know that. Because we have just not too long ago got out of that slavery mentality, and a lot of us are still trying to get that third eye open. But the elite know that the womb governs a lot of power. The elite, or the ones that are running this country, are white men. So when we're thinking about white men, on the total opposite spectrum of the scale, you have black women. That is the total opposite of white men. The white man knows if you take down the black woman, you take down the entire civilization of people, the entire civilization of the village, the entire civilization of everybody known to man once you get rid of the black woman. That's just hands down. They know that 99% of the time the woman is spiritually connected to her womb. So if you contaminate and you damn her womb, he holds the ultimate power because you're weakening her. The more that the womb menstruates and that uterine wall falls apart and breaks apart, blood is liquid flesh. So the more that liquid flesh is falling out of that womb month after month after month after month, you are aging just as quickly. Every time we're aging faster and faster and faster. So that means they are canceling out the black woman in her civilization of people is controlled with her month after month after month. They are damning us every month. And we are being in denial about it. And getting stuck talking about something, oh, the menstruation means, unhealthy. No, it doesn't. Because if the menstruation was supposed to get rid of your toxicity, that means you would never be toxic anymore. Why is your body constantly breaking down if it's trying to get rid of the toxins? Let's think, y'all. Ain't making no sense. Something else in this book, he says here, that one of the biggest falsehood propaganda by Western medicine is that menstruation is the way of nature, provides for a woman to cleanse herself of toxins and renew the body each month. Doctors even claim that if the uterine lining didn't slough off every month, the incidence of the uterine cancer would be much higher in women today. I don't know if y'all noticed, but the woman's womb have gained so much more uterine cancer by women after women after women. We getting fibroid cancers, we getting all these different uterine cancers, and we can't figure out why. All the toxins you put in your body. Western medicine is garbage. Okay? What we need to do is get back to our roots, and your roots is these herbs. Y'all better get with it and learn what these herbs are, because a lot of things that life and the universe is healing us with is already in the ground. It's already in the grass. We over here taking in these medicines and this foolishness when that is nothing more but putting more contamination into your womb and in your body. Donovan, you asked, is there a way to stop it? Yes, it is actually. The way to stop it, anything can be reversed once you get back on your natural tip. And that means you have to have a lot of discipline. Because I know for me, I'm trying to get my discipline together, and I'm trying to, eat right and get what I need to get right. And one of the main things to heal the womb is vitamin A. And vitamin A is found a lot of times in vegetables and fruits. And it can also be found in sea moss, because sea moss has a lot of vital minerals that the body needs. Without these items, and we constantly eating this junk in the store, cookies and everything that is not on that produce aisle on the side, and even on the produce aisle, I think it's better for you to grow it. But because a lot of people don't have these gardens or whatnot, at least we can do is go to the fresh market. Because a lot of these things, they're putting pesticides on and everything like that. And this, again, is more toxins that you're placing in your body, on top of these frequencies that serve no purpose for the body. He also talks about when I was saying about the Western medicine, how they are tricking our minds. So he says to think about that now. There are so many more uterine cancers, more now than it has ever been in our entire civilization of generations. In the beginning of time, before we were colonized, we didn't even bleed. And to bleed, they saw that as a sickness, as a disease. So you know what happened to the woman who bled? They saw that as a plague. So she wasn't able, whenever she was bleeding, they pushed her to the side. You need your time over here. You can't make decisions because you're irrational. So because you're irrational and you're not in your normal state of mind because of your menstrual cycle, we have to place you over here away from everybody else in the village. You can't take part of the rituals. You can't nurture the babies. We can't milk the cows. You can't do any of that because our energy and our cipher and our mentality was all thrown off. Your menstrual cycle is a weakness, and it is breaking you down to the point where it is causing a psychological dysfunction. Something else he says is during that time of the menses, the uterine lining is engorged with dead decay and blood matter. The sloughing off of the lining is a highly exhaustive defensive reaction taken by the body to prevent such damage, all of which eventually proves futile as it inevitably leads to a complete shutdown of the system and a reproductive disease called menopause. Women trying to figure out why we get menopause earlier and earlier and earlier is because we constantly putting in toxins in our body month after month after month, day after day after day. So even our children are gaining this menstrual cycle earlier and earlier. It used to be 17, 18, 19. Now we got 11, 12, 13, sometimes 10-year-olds with their menstrual cycles earlier and earlier. That ain't normal.
Yeah. You know, all of that is all of a chain effect, chain reaction. Everything is coinciding for each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we, like I said last night, we born into this world, and we're getting everything that's passed down to us. You know, from our parents, from their parents, and from before all of that. You know, and then this society, this American system, taught us how to eat 3 meals a day.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, 3 meals a day is not healthy at all.
At all.
It's best to break it down to 1 meal a day.
Yes.
Everybody, 1 meal a day. I want to touch on a little thing before you go further.
Okay.
I think a lot of women have grown up in the church, in religion, and heard what Eve and Adam done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was the cursing to the garden. And so I think a lot of women can relate that there's a plague, there's a curse that was put on Eve.
Yeah.
And this is pertaining to the blood of the menstrual cycle
that
you'll go through and the pain of our labor.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Where's the passage here? I just pulled this up. Genesis 3, Genesis 3rd chapter, verse 14. I ain't getting religious either. And the Lord God said unto thee, the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly thou shalt go, and thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I surely put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his head. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy soul and thy conception, and so that shall bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Now, a lot of interpret that passage saying that a woman's going to be cursed and in pain, and labor, and the menstrual cycle, and the continuous of the periods that y'all have and all of that. And there you go. There's that that fairy folklore.
It's funny that you mentioned that because actually Eve is the representation of white woman. That in no way, shape, form, or fashion is black woman. Lilith is the representation of black sisters in that mentality. When you get into religion, you're talking about like in the Bible, whatever, for that white woman, that was her punishment. That was her curse, but that wasn't black women's curse. We're spiritual beings, so we should have known better. And that's also the reason why Lilith was the first woman to back away from her people. The first woman to be like, you know what, y'all tripping. So I'm just gonna head over here to the side somewhere. And she went and did her own thing.
You should do a lesson on that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a lesson on Lilith too.
Yeah, a lot of us don't know about that.
Yeah. But furthermore about the menstruation, because I don't want to get too far off from it, but hemorrhaging is the blood escaping the circulatory system. Because it's simple, menstruation is hemorrhaging. It is a malfunction of the sacred archetypal matrix of the woman, a progressive degeneration of physiological integrity that has now become a normal monthly process to eject systematic toxins through abnormal means. Nothing more, nothing less. So again, like I said, menstruation ain't nothing more than you getting rid of toxins. We have so much toxin in us that our body is constantly flushing out. Something that I was talking to my fiance earlier about was the fact that we have to take into account that our bodies have become so devolved that we have to constantly push out stuff. When you defecate, you are ridding yourself of toxins. When you urinate, you're getting rid of toxins. When you cry, you're getting rid of toxins, emotional toxins. When you're snotting or you're coughing or things like that, all of that is getting rid of toxins. Whereas we have never been as toxic as we are today. So I say that to say this, that at one point in time in our height of evolution and higher consciousness, we had no need to cry. We had no need to defecate. We had no need to, crying of these tears to release pressure of tension. We had no need to menstruate. We had no need to do any of these things because we was at our higher spiritual element of all time. We become so devolved that things that seem normal are very much not normal at all.
That's right.
Something else that to point out in here is that, in fact, anytime a body bleeds, no matter how little or profuse, it is a traumatic loss of its most precious life essence, and all of the systems of the body are thrown into panic. So that's the reason why the woman starts going into all these other chaotic things as far as bloating, severe joint pains, loss of smell and taste, which is why she starts craving salt or craving sugars, because there's so much of that loss of that sensation on other realms that she's craving certain things. Things like violent mood swings, exhaustion, depression, impatience. She becomes dizzy. Sometimes you get loss of vision. Drastic temperature fluctuations, mental disorientation. All of this is your body going into constant, systematic panic and shutdown failure. That's the reason why women start losing their minds once their menstrual cycles come on. That shit ain't healthy, nor is it natural. Let me just reiterate that. It says, with all of the mental, physical, and environmental madness we do battle with every day, the very last thing a woman needs to do is the hemorrhage every month on top of it all. All of that is driving us insane. Something else that I want to point out for those who are Christians who need that little bit of realization. I got a little thing right here from Mark chapter 5, verse 25 through 34. Let me hit y'all up with this real quick, because there is some truth into the Bible once you flip it and you read it correctly with your third eye. It was Mark chapter 5, verse 25 through 34. So let me hit y'all up with this real quick for those who don't know no better. It says, and a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years and had suffered many things of many physicians and had spent all that she had and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse, when she had heard of Jesus, came in the press behind and touched his garment. For she said, if I much touch his clothes, I shall be whole. Mind you, to menstruate, you are no longer whole because your life essence and your blood tissue, that liquid flesh, is leaving the body. So you're no longer whole. So what she's saying is, if I touch his clothes, I will become whole again. So, and straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. The menstrual cycle is a plague. And Jesus, immediately knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press and said, "Who touched my clothes?" And he looked around to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him and told him the truth. And he said unto her, "Daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace and be whole of thy plague." That's telling you right there, the menstrual cycle is a plague. It is nothing natural to the menstrual cycle.
That's right. That's fact.
Right? And then another thing, again, I want to mention, it talks about it being a plague again in Leviticus. Leviticus chapter 15, 19, 25, and 28 verses. But I won't go that far. I'm not going to read all that. But it said to be whole means that no part of you is missing. You are complete. When a woman menstruates, she bleeds liquid flesh. It means that each month of her adult life, a woman's body is being traumatically fragmented, where a part of her total physical being is lost forever. So again, each time that this woman is menstruating, not only is she aging and she's dying, by each time that she menstruates, you are losing more life, and that life is that fountain of youth. Because again, like I said, naturally when we was on a higher state of mind, we didn't have no reason for menstruating. We were pretty much, our physical bodies was immortal. That's the reason why in certain passages and things in the Bible, they live for, 600 something odd years, because they immortalize themselves. And you're able to do that by not having toxins, by straight being vegan, by drinking pure neutral water, something that gave you life naturally. By putting more of that in the body, you are able to sustain and have no need for your cells to break down. I know in biology class, they talk about how the body, in order for it to heal itself and to rejuvenate itself, it has to tear down the cell. This one whole of a cell has to break down into two cells and separate in order to rejuvenate and heal the body. However, if you are to eat right and properly, and you were to clear your body of toxins, you would have no need for your cells to break apart. This one cell will be whole for your entire lifespan. And that is how you stay immortal. That is how you are able to keep yourself at a healthy state. The more toxins you get and put in your body, that much harder your body has to recuperate, regenerate, divide itself. Remember, I'm having like a little spiritual, I don't know, they call it in church the Holy Ghost. Well, I'm just calling it, my ancestors touching me right now, because it makes that much more sense. Because when you think about it, the elite's whole thing is divide and conquer. By dividing ourselves, they are conquering, because they can live forever, and they are learning to immortalize their souls, their spirits, their children by the weaknesses of us. By the more blood sacrifice of the menstrual cycle that we are doing on our own, because we don't know no better how to heal ourselves and keep ourselves afloat. The more we bleed, the more they gain. Divide and conquer. That's more than just dividing religion, more than just dividing races of people, more than just dividing cultures. They are dividing us up on a cellular biochemistry level.
There's a couple of scientists that, really, a lot of scientists have lost their lives due to that.
Mm-hmm.
Facts. I mean, once they discover the truth, your life is cut off. Sorry.
Exactly.
Again, with the proper way of eating, it's always around the clock. Not in this 8 o'clock nonsense, for real. I mean, let's get real. You want to eat to live, there's times that you eat. You know what I'm saying? And the amount that you eat. And there's a lot of books on that, about the CD.
Yeah.
Even the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, even talk about this. There's also books on your blood type. You know what I mean? Yeah, what to eat on your blood type.
Yeah.
So we're really in a state of mind where we're overindulging ourselves.
Yes. And that's one thing that Mayat talks about how to balance ourselves. Like our ancestors put all this stuff in stone. They tell you not to overindulge. But then you got white boy and Western medicine and all this telling you to eat 3 times a day.
That's death.
That's death. You are killing yourself 3 times a day. All you need is one good meal. Like when you go back and you think about it, and you actually sit down and you think about with your third eye about our ancestors. First of all, our ancestors weren't killing no animals to feed themselves, number 1. Okay? Number 2, when you think about, the times and them sitting down, like they had nothing but time to observe nature, to observe themselves on a molecular level, to observe and look at the skies. They had time to just be one with nature all day, every day. And because they were so high in getting food from spiritual level, all they needed was to eat a good little amount of fruits and berries and vegetables that one time a day, and that was enough to sustain their life force. Drinking that spring water out of the river, that was enough to sustain their life force. And that is the reason why they survived and immortalized themselves.
Yeah. We touched on last night on the animals who don't give menstruation cycles.
Oh, yeah.
We mentioned the dog is the only one so far we saw or we witnessed.
Yeah.
There's no recorded other animals.
Yeah, we was talking about how when you think about everything in nature, like why is it that it's women, women, human women, well, I guess that's the only women, huh? But women are the one with the menstrual cycles. And then we was trying to think like what other animal has a menstrual cycle. And I do notice that dogs, there's some dogs out there that also has like this little menstrual cycle period, but that just goes to show that even they are becoming inflicted with toxins. And when you think about it, we're feeding them the dog food that you feed them. That's not natural food for them. So we're giving them toxins, just as much toxins as we giving the dogs, we put in our own bodies. But when you think about on a massive level of every other animal, what other animal has a menstrual cycle if it was that natural?
Facts.
And they still having babies. I know some women who don't have menstrual cycles and they got children. They have children. It's like a handful of them out there. So I'm like, we need to quit believing the hype of that Western medicine. Yes. Something else that I wanted to point out is, let's see, right here. Metaphysically, when a woman is dealing with heavy problems in her life, her thoughts are primarily centered in her womb. Whether she is aware of it or not, thus the quality of her thoughts affect the quality of her health as it relates to her womb. A woman is womb conscious 99% of the time. Even if she isn't always brain conscious of this fact, the womb is the dark matter core of her universe. Her body is ruled by it, ruled by her mind of her womb-niverse. So the universe is in her womb. That's the reason why she is the creator of life. It is the center and the circumference of all of her issues. So anything when it comes to all of her stressors and all these things like that, all of that is in the womb. If you destroy the womb, again, you destroy the mind, you destroy what it is for her to be her. That's why our ancient ancestors knew that women were sacred. Women were so sensitive. Our bodies were so sensitive that we can't deal with these major stresses of life today. Again, the elite know that. And that's the reason why they thrive off of our pain.
Yeah. Let me stress this on a real to the brothers. Brothers, you have a wife who's pregnant. Protect that woman and that child all your life. Mm-hmm. All your life. All your life.
Facts. I'm like, for some reason, our men and women, like our brothers and sisters, man, like y'all need to realize how important your counterpart is. Okay? I wouldn't be able to try to get into that stress-free element if it weren't for my man. All right? Men, you ain't gonna be like y'all, you are supposed to protect your woman, your children. You are the protectors of the land. You are protectors of the sensitivity of your woman.
Give up your life for that shit.
That is your job. Women, y'all need to quit acting like y'all tougher than tough. We not tough, y'all. We not built for that. We are spiritually tough to the point where we know what to nurture our families with. We're supposed to know what to nurture our womb with. We're supposed to know, how to create that civilization of people who are strong, mentally, physically strong. You are supposed to balance off each other. Mayat talks about that balance. The Trinity talks about that balance. Aset, Asar, Haru talk about that balance, how important it is. Women, y'all need to know how to get back into your realm. Y'all need to know how to get back into your house duties, feeding and nurturing. Yeah, it seems a little tough, but don't let the matrix get you.
Okay.
Y'all need to learn y'all softer ways and stop trying to be tough, running away y'all men.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong with you.
That's why we're the difference between the animal kingdom and human. That's the difference between us two. Mm-hmm. When the animals, they ain't thinking about their lives when it comes to protecting their woman and their young.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna give it up right ASAP.
Yeah.
ASAP, without arguing.
Okay.
And you can ask any roach, any ant, any bee, any spider man, tiger, lion, we're gonna give up their dang life.
Yes. Sure. I'm about to say animals have got it, and us humans have gotten so robotic and act like we don't know no better that we just falling. If you look at the animal kingdom, like I said, observe the universe. If you observe the animal kingdom, that male animal is that protector. He gonna die for his family. Ain't nobody just gonna come in his realm and just disrespect his family. You look at the gorillas in the animal kingdom, they going ham for theirs. You look at the lion in their animal kingdom, they going ham for their lionesses and their children. Like we need to remember this. So again, going back to the menstrual cycles. The reason why we so menstrual women is because y'all so stressed out. If you learn your place and quit trying to be tougher than tough, then maybe you wouldn't be stressed. If you was to eat healthy and get your body right, maybe you wouldn't be stressed. The more stressed you are, the more testosterone you're making, the more toxicity you creating, the more you're going to bleed every day. My menstrual cycle has went from 10 days to 3. Okay? And I'm chopping that thing down month by month. I'm trying to get that thing gone.
Talk about it.
And in order to do that, that means you got to get healthy.
Yeah, talk about that. How is your menstrual cycle working for you? How is the periods coming?
Yeah, well, for me and my menstrual cycle, because I have been 2 months strong with trying to, being a vegetarian, no meats. I'm still trying to get off my eggs and my cheeses. I don't drink sodas. I'm drinking my alkaline water. I be making my juices with my sea moss in it. I try to get all of my fruits and veggies in. The more I do that, like I said, my menstrual cycle has shortened up from 10 days to 3. Something else that I need y'all to know about your menstrual cycles. These pads, y'all, they tricking us with the fuckery. Okay? These maxi pads and stuff like that, y'all need to know what they are making these pads out of. They're making these pads out of plastic. Some of this stuff is like used tires. They're making some of these pads out of. When you are clogging up your vagina is supposed to work like lungs. It needs to breathe. And that's one of the reasons why the ancestors say not to wear tight pants, not to wear pants. They always wore dresses. They always wear dresses because your vagina needs to breathe. We have gotten so sick that we over here wanting to wear pants because our man wear pants. We want to wear tight stuff because we are perverted to where you think that because you're behind and you want to have your butt print sticking out, so the man over here and lustful eyes, we sick.
Dr. Africa touched on that too in the holistic health book, African, on the clothes that are appropriate for our people. You know, we're copying the Western society, and that's a big fail right there. We're supposed to wear things that are loose, that our blood circulate. Even with the high heel shoes for women, you're not supposed to wear that. You know, it looks good, you want to look good and all that jazz, but it's not good for you. It destroys the alignment of the spine and the blood flow. You know, everything you wear, your clothes that are holistic, is compromised with the body's blood flow. Function. You should advertise the maxi pads.
The pads. Okay. Well, hold on before I do that. I also wanted to mention to also go on what he was saying about how your body, like the universe automatically knows, you know, what is supposed to sustain the spiritual being's body. Everything is supposed to be loose. Another thing that people don't take into account is the fact of after having a child, you're supposed to breastfeed. Because when you breastfeed, it pushes your womb back where it's supposed to be. If you don't breastfeed, your womb stays dropped. And then that even brings you even more to all these corruptions of the womb. Something else that messes with the womb is these bras.
Come on now.
Okay? Bras is constricting the blood flow of your breasts. So by constricting the blood flow of your breast, it is constricting everything. Matter of fact, let me take mine off real quick. It is, they can't see me. It is taking the, it's restricting the body. It's messing up your womb because everything is like tightened up and stressed. Everything is restricted. It wasn't black woman who came up and decided to, let's create a bra. Never in our mind frame in ancient era did we say we need a bra to make our boobs perky. No, that was not our thing. We was walking around free balling and good with that because we knew we needed that freedom, that relaxation. The body can't be tensed. So, something else I wanted to mention is it says here, it is also why our ancestral elders considered menstruation to be a type of monthly abortion. Because like I said, not only is it liquid flesh, it is also what is holding the eggs. It is said that women are born into this world with the amount of eggs that they need to have. So when you think about that, you think about menstruation, you are constantly getting rid of eggs, That is another way of population control. Because by you aborting those eggs through menstrual cycles, then that means you are less likely to get pregnant. Time after time after time, less likely to get pregnant. We used to have children like crazy, like wildfire. Our ancestors and our grandparents, they having like 10 kids. We can barely get to 4 now.
That's right.
Because our bodies are so sick. Our mental is so sick. So we have to start thinking of menstrual cycles like abortions. Our ancestors back in that time frame, to them, the egg signifies potential life. Thus, it was life. If it leaves a woman's body without fulfilling its sacred purpose of manifesting life, it was considered an untimely death, hence an abortion. I'm like, our ancestors knew all this, y'all. And we sitting over here oblivious. Something else that says a few days before the actual bleeding begins, a vast majority of women experience a variety of emotional shifts directly related to severe hormonal shifts, which sometimes lead to random emotional outbursts. Again, the loss of blood from her precious reproductive tabernacle. The womb is the evidence of her loss of control over this powerful mutt force, which often leads to a woman's loss of physical, mental, and emotional control. This is getting rid of her crystal essence. To the ancients, any loss of blood was a tragedy. Blood was considered the crystallized essence of life, and they knew how traumatic it was to the total organism if any amount of your blood was lost. Losing blood is a shock to the system, plain and simple. On average, our bodies must manufacture nearly 2,400,000 red blood cells every second, which is a ridiculous amount to have to produce within that given period of a time, for it requires a severe expenditure of vital force to accomplish this. So again, the more blood that you are losing, the more your body has to recompensate for what you are losing, the more your body is exhausted and causing that aging, that death cycle.
Just like in masturbation, semen and fuels and stuff, you get exhausted, and then you have to go into regenerating or
Exactly. It says another thing that, here. It says that cellular division after attaining adulthood and the constant replacement of these red blood cells may very well be an unnatural process after all. When I was talking about how, the cells are breaking itself apart to recreate and to rejuvenate, to make up for the blood loss that you lost, your body has to now break down even more to recreate that. It says that scientific evidence has shown that a blood cell has the capacity to live indefinitely if given a stress-free, nutritional, stable environment. But if a toxin of a stress-inducing agent is introduced into its environment, it divides. Divide and they conquer. So if you're in a stress-free environment, your body has no need to divide anything. It has no need to break down and bleed. You have no need for that if you're in a stress-free and toxic-free environment. So without stress, the cell does not multiply. With stress, it does. Cellular division after maturity should therefore be considered a defensive act. As a result of this continual and drastic depletion of vital life force energy, the body degenerates and prematurely dies of systematic exhaustion in stages and degrees we call aging. Aging wasn't even a real thing. We never really aged until we started losing our life force.
That's right.
Once we started bleeding and losing our life force day after day, that's when we started aging. That's when our ancestors started putting things on temple walls because they knew we were going to be right here where we are today. They knew we was going to get lost. They knew we was going to get so far away that we wouldn't know how to come back.
That's why they say the handwriting was on the wall.
Exactly.
They told our story.
And something else that we don't realize, my women, is it's a lot of things that play into the breakdown of your womb, the breakdown of our coming into our menstrual cycles. I know it's hard to believe, but the fact that we are reading can break down the menstrual cycle. And that's another video for another time. But just know, for a woman who is on a higher dimension, especially Black women, for us to be on a spiritual higher dimension, we're supposed to be on a fourth dimensional type thing. When we see things, we're supposed to see things in symbols. So when we're reading books and we see in a two-dimensional flat reading, that was never our way of how we learned. We learned from music, we learned from art, we learned from symbols, we learned from nature, vibrations, frequencies. To read was never the way that we learned in our ancient era. So that is another way, because when we're reading things, we're stressing the body. When I tell you the body in the womb is very sensitive, it is very sensitive. So when you're forcing yourself to read two-dimensional words, and you're forcing yourself, they said there was a scientific study that was saying that those women who are, what is it? Secretaries. Those who are secretaries, those who are always in front of computers all day, those who read books all day, those women are the women who come across the most fibroid problems, uterine problems, because of stresses. When you're stressing the body to read, stressing the body to look at computers all day long, stressing the body to deal with things that your body doesn't naturally do, you are breaking down again your body and your womb, again causing that toxic environment for your womb, which in turn brings in this menstrual cycle.
And that also goes, not to interrupt, but that also goes with the signs of we're not supposed to wear glasses either.
Exactly. Glasses was never a thing.
That's right.
And now we're wearing glasses. Like they know what is targeting us. They know what is effing us up. And we is too deaf, dumb, and blind, third eye wise, to see what is going on.
That's right.
Like we got to get with it. They know this. They've been studying us so long. Okay, they've been studying us so long that they are using things against us. Hence, now we are causing our own blood sacrifices for them. And that is sick. That's sickening. Okay, that is a mental sickness. It says that the series of ecological and wartime catastrophes occurring over the last 75 to 100,000 years has caused so many mutative changes within the total spectrum of the world, humanity, and planetary-wise, that we no longer know what constitutes true and lasting health for the human body anymore. We've gotten so far from our generation's beginnings of spiritual beings that we don't know what's up from down. We are so mentally sick that we don't know what health means anymore. We don't know how to heal ourselves anymore. That is a problem. And we sitting over here looking for the oppressor to teach us about our health. That is sickening. That is a mental sickness. I got to keep saying that. Whenever you are looking for this Western medicine to heal a spiritual being and they don't know how to be spiritual, that is a sickness. How can you look to them, the oppressor, or look into that oppressive energy to heal you? We over here thinking that menstrual cycles and things like that is supposed to bring life into this world, when in all actuality is doing the exact opposite, taking life away from us. We can't even bear 10 children anymore because we so sick. So they are they're population control. They're controlling how many babies we bring into this world. And pretty soon it's going to get so bad that we're not even going to be able to procreate anymore.
No, not at all. It's going to be so bad where the poison that we eat is just going to already we're done. It sterilized the males, what you call it, sexual.
Oh yeah, sterilizing our men folk and whatnot. Yeah, and that's another thing when it comes to women and how these stressors play an effect is the more that we stress, again, tension. When you have a baby, all of that energy, all of that spiritual tension, we are spiritual beings. Everything that you do on a spiritual, electrical energy level will travel down to your child. Generational curses are real. So when a woman is super, super, super stressed out and tension and all this other stuff, it goes straight into the baby. It is sterilizing our men or sterilizing our boys. We're sterilizing our boys because of what's going on with the mother. So now you have boys coming into this world too soft. They're too soft because we're so tense, we're so stressed out that energy is traveling into the womb, again the womb, traveling to the womb, getting into the baby. So now you have the baby boy getting too much estrogen, becoming too soft because his mama is tense. You got the girl or the female child getting too much testosterone because the woman is tense. Yes. Stress. All of that starts with the womb. Yes. Boy, when I tell you y'all need to get this book, this Wounded Womb book, I'm telling you, it go harder to paint with the facts. Who's the book by? Phil Valentine. All right, here you go. One more thing that I need to mention before I get off, because it's going on an hour and I try not to go over an hour, is this statement right here. It says, when a civilization is in its final stages of decline due to the overall environment becoming so toxic as to be incapable of sustaining a balance of health and well-being for a higher life form, these effects and debilitating effects will begin to show themselves first and foremost in the female. These menstrual cycles, this is the first and foremost sign of a debilitating, messed up civilization. It's starting with us. It started with us and it will end with us. That's right. That's right. Thus, when the female of a species begin to show signs and symptoms of infractual degeneration, being the incubator of biological life, what issues from her womb will replicate the degeneration in kind. This will continue until such a time as a generational integrity of the species becomes severely compromised, resulting in its downward spiral effects of ultimate extinction. When I tell you again, the elite know this, they know this. And that is the reason why they are trying to tell us that menstrual cycles is normal. Because they want us to bleed. They want us to have this blood sacrifice month after month after month. They want us to bring in sick children, generational curses.
Yeah, and they want us to depend on them. With their foolishness, their trickery, their miseducation, their no good medicines that keep us sick and keep their business flowing. They want us to keep filling their churches. They want us to keep filling our mortuaries.
Exactly.
Come on. If we know this knowledge and really spread it out, listen, that will be the
yes, and that's what they do not want us to do. They don't want us to gain reality and facts, because once we know thyself, boy, when I tell you, y'all need to know thyself. Research is key. There is no reason why black people in the civilization today should be slow to the point where we can't acknowledge what facts are. We are supposed to be spiritual beings. You can't be spiritual beings and you don't know how to listen to nature. Nature is who you run to. Your ancestors is who you run to. Your intuition is who you run to. Not no westernized doctors. Not nobody who don't even know you. They don't know your generational ancestors. They don't care for us being spiritual beings because they don't have that power. They're not as spiritual as we are. So that's the reason why they are trying to condemn and damn us.
Yeah. The whole thing with the syphilis experiment, I know the time is up, but the syphilis experiment down in Tuskegee, I think it was, the whole parent, the birth control,
yeah.
What is that thing called?
What?
Parenthood
something. But it's a whole thing, a trap is what it is.
All target towards us. Okay?
Okay.
They knew what they were doing.
Exactly. So that is definitely what I wanted us to hit on and talk on today. Like, hey, y'all better wake up. Do y'all research. Stop letting these oppressed negative energies tell you about you. Y'all need to go out there and research. Sitting there talking about something what a doctor said. All right. See how that worked out for you. Anywho, that is all I want. I want to say peace, love, and light. Ubuntu to all of you. Let's get that knowledge up. 720, y'all. Y'all better learn them degrees. Anything else, babe?
Peace, love, and light. All power to the people. Chat, shalom, assalamu alaikum.
All of that good stuff. Mwah. Peace to y'all.